Leslie tries hard to speak well. With a speech titled, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, please welcome Leslie Trosper.
Thank you. Yes, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I love the idea of that. This is a stained glass window in Chartres, and it shows the old prophets as giants. I know you can't see it very well. I'll kind of pass it around. It didn't come out very well. It's standing on the prophets of Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, and Ezekiel. And who is standing on the shoulders of those prophets, those very wise prophets, are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And they're shown as smaller images. This is really an amazing thing because isn't this what we do? Isn't this even what we do at Toastmasters? We come and watch others and we see. Now look at me. Okay, how far do you think I can see in the distance? Do you think I can see as far as Bart? Bart, can you stand up, please? Do you think I can see as far as Bart into the distance? But if I stand on his shoulders, then I can see much further. And that's what we need to do, is especially in history, we need to stand on the shoulders of giants. And this is a very important thing. This is a statement. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. This is Isaac Newton that originally said that. Isaac Newton, even he attributed that he stood on the shoulders of giants. And that's an amazing thing to think of that. How many of you agree with the statement that you stand on the shoulders of giants? How many of you have somebody personally that you know has helped you be a better person by standing on their shoulders? Think of that person. Think of that person while I talk to you today. I want to tell you a little bit about some of my giants in my life. This is Rosie the Riveter. See her? How many of you recognize these symbols? Okay. And how many of you know what the symbol stands for? Raylene, what does that symbol stand for?
It's showing that at the time all the men were at war, and so the women needed to be supporting. So it shows, yes, the women, we are strong enough to support them.
1943, all of the men started going away to war. And 1% of the people in the industry, the aviation industry, were women. 1943, 67% of the people in the aviation industry were men, or were women, sorry. Women. They immediately, what a change in the world. They immediately had to leave their homes and what they regularly did to become mechanics. They had to take over the jobs in the factories. I love this one. This is the one we traditionally think of. She's a compilation of a lot of women. She's really fictional, but a compilation of a lot of women. This is the one that is famous from the Saturday Evening Post. And she seems a little bit cockier. And it says, on May 29, 1943, the Saturday Evening Post published a cover image by Norman Rockwell portraying Rosie with a flag in the background and a copy of Adolf Hitler's racist tract, Mein Kampf, underneath her feet. This was a real thing that they pushed. They started pushing for women to be in the service. One giant whose shoulders I stand on is my mother, Rosie the Riveter. 19 years old, she moved from Vail, South Dakota, a little farm town. She moved down to Denver, Colorado, and then she was one of the first 3 that went to work at Continental Airlines at Stapleton Airport in Denver, Colorado. She began working on airplanes. They brought them in from California, from Boeing, and she really was a Rosie the Riveter because she put gun turrets in them. And riveted those gun turrets in. Then they started bringing B-29s in from Omaha, Nebraska. And they put her to work on those. And she had to put extra gas tanks in so that they could go all the way to Japan. They had to put bomb bays in so that they could carry the big bombs. This is my mom, Rosie the Riveter. She recently got to go on an honor flight. She was the very first for the state of Utah. Very first Rosie the Riveter. Here's another picture of her. She was the very first Rosie the Riveter that got to go on the Utah flight. They took her to Washington, D.C. to see the World War II monument. All these people over 90 years old that weren't able to see it, but they take them, and they're able to go to all of these monuments. I'll pass this around as a little thing about my mother. Mom, she said not to embarrass her. Stand up. This is my Rosie the Riveter. This is the giant.